Welcome to episode 223 interview with your spiritual VA, Kylie Tolman.
Our special guest in 10 short months has gone from a kind of lost generalist freelancer to an absolutely thriving specialist agency owner. Kylie Tolman is a holistic systems strategist who empowers spiritual business owners with aligned automations for sustainable, expansive growth. Welcome, Kylie. We are really excited that you're here.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here too and to share my story.
I think it's going to be really interesting for you too, Kylie, when we take you right back to literally 10 months ago. And I don't think that you're going to recognize the person that you were back 10 months ago because so much has changed for you. So let's go all the way back to what actually brought you into this virtual assistant industry and, how did you come across Sam and I?
Yeah, I actually started, would have been October last year, just doing some casual office work, I guess it was, from home for a friend of mine. And then early last year, no, this year. Oh my gosh.
I know
Early
it's
this year.
like literally 10 months, eh?
Yeah, I know. Early this year, I was like, because I was homeschooling as well at the time, and I'm like, okay, money was getting a little bit tight. I needed to look at options. I was starting to see what was around in the job market. Didn't want to go back working in an office. Wanted to carry on homeschooling. And then I was like, okay, what are my options? What can I do with my skill set and what I've done before? So yeah, so I was like doing I think it was a 21-day or a 7-day manifestation course online and with Alex Tripod. And I was like, okay, what am I meant to be doing? What's the next step? Like, what options have I got? And then this idea popped up about my office work. Why don't I do it for other people from home? So I jumped on Google, as you do, to see what was around and what courses and what things there were. And that's when I came across the VA Foundry and saw that you had a podcast, love Spotify podcasts, and started binging you guys. I was like, oh my God, this is a thing. This is a thing. And then I think one of the podcasts, you mentioned Alex Tripod. And I was like, okay, this is a sign.
Oh, wow. We
Yeah.
do. We did a lot of stuff with Alex Tripod.
Yeah. Insane. So yeah, so I was just like, okay, this is a sign. This is what I need to be doing. So I just jumped in. I started getting buying all your different resources and exploring it. And then I launched myself, DIY, and then saw your 30 days program. I was like, okay, I've tried different, had different businesses before in the past, and some successful, some not so successful. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with fluffing. I want to get this business up and running fast. I'm signing up. So I think I had reached out, I think it might have been to you, Sam, and said, I've already kind of launched. Is this program going to be right for me?
That's right. I remember that. And did I reassure you?
You did. You did, yeah.
My response was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you said, yeah, definitely. Like, it's, because I was early on. I didn't really know. I didn't have a lot of processes. I didn't know how to onboard people. I didn't know about contracts hugely and all of that sort of stuff. So I had been tapping into I've got over 17 years experience in office management, process improvement, payroll and accounts, credit control. So yeah, so I was thinking I was going to go kind of down that path, doing that sort of work from home. And then we did the course, the 30-day launch and 30-day program. And oh my gosh, so many moments in that. And that was really the catalyst for me. I learned how to niche. I actually realized what I did and didn't want. I didn't want to be doing that sort of work, actually. I have trained in lots of different holistic and spiritual practices over the years on the side of my day job. And so I was trained in energy work, life coaching, mindfulness practitioner training, energy, quantum freedom therapy. And last year I trained in Bali as a spirit breathwork facilitator. So I had all of these other different skills to bring to the mix. And I was like, I don't want to be sitting there doing someone's payroll. Like, it didn't really excite me. Like, doing the program, you're like, okay, what excites you? Don't just do things because you can do it. Like, find your thing. Find something that's actually going to feel like it's something you enjoy and not work. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be a spiritual VA. I'm going to be a VA for all of these spiritual and holistic businesses that need some help with the tech. Yeah. So that was kind of how your spiritual VA came about. Yeah.
Kylie, how awesome is it that you have found a way to combine that passion that you have for spirituality and how you've managed to bring that into the virtual assistant space? And you absolutely owned that. Anyone who is any kind of spiritual entrepreneur would have seen you as the Kylie Tolman, your spiritual VA, and been like, that is the VA for me. She is going to get me. And you became fully booked very quickly, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely. I did. I became fully booked really fast, faster than I could keep up with. And it was amazing. It was really good. And that was the great thing. Like, I could understand my clients and they understand me. I don't have to hide and be someone corporate and try and fit in a box. And we can talk energy. We can understand when things aren't flowing and stuff like that, and talk on such a different level. And that was why so many people were coming to me. They were going, I've always needed a VA, or I've wanted somebody to help work with me, but I could never find anyone that resonated or that got me. Or they didn't want to be using somebody overseas because they wanted somebody locally that understood all of those aspects. And that is one of the things that I do talk about as well on my marketing, is our businesses and our energy, and it's an extension of us. And so every single person that touches your business in the back end, any tech, anything like that, has an energetic imprint into your business. So it's important to know who's touching your business and that they are aligned as well, and that they get you.
Wow. I never thought about that. But this is why we love Maria so much, because energetically or numerology wise, she's a 33, which is another master number. I'm 11, Sam's a 22, and she's a 33. Like, I feel like that little nugget that you just gave us about how anyone touching your business is energetically putting something into your business. Like, I'd never thought about that before. Had you, Sam?
No, I hadn't. And as soon as you said it, Kylie, literally goosebumps up and down my arms. For anyone that doesn't know who Maria is our VA. So she's in our back end. So the energy she's bringing. Yeah, it's so important. It's so important.
Spiritual people really get that. And that's why they're like, oh, wow, okay, we need you in our business. So that's why things just blew up really, really quickly, because there was nobody else providing that for them.
Yeah. We love that you have building a business that is so in alignment with who you are as a person and your values. And it just, because you've done that, everything that you share online comes across so genuinely. Do you know what I mean? Like, you are standing out from the crowd because you are authentically you. You've picked something that's in alignment with your values and who you are. You haven't just gone, okay, Sam and Joe, what's an in-demand service and what's an industry that's outsourcing to VAs at the moment, and gone, boom, I'm gonna force myself into that mold because I think it's going to get me clients faster. Where in actual fact, it's backfired. And you are just proof of, when you are so in alignment with what you're doing, the energy that you are giving off, the vibes, that is attracting your ideal client. Like, people want to work with that. And we're so impressed. Like, from day one, we were so impressed with, even before starting launch, like how you were showing up on your socials. like that was coming through, even though you hadn't kind of really nailed down that ideal client and your specialty yet. I feel like that's just a natural thing for you to do, is it? Like showing up online and being yourself. I feel like it's not forced. It's just coming, the flow is very natural.
Absolutely. I don't care what people think. Over the years, I've just learned that anyway, and
Yeah.
I understand the importance of being the face of your business. People and the whole marketing is changing anyway. It's moving more to people are buying from who they like, know, and trust. So you need to
Mm.
show up, you need to be you. And if
Yeah.
people don't like that, then they're not for you. You don't want to be working with them anyway. So that's always just been my thought around that, really. Yeah. I really
Well
want to be
done, you're
working with
really
people
well.
who want to work with me. Otherwise, they're hard
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the reasons why you have done so well. And one of the reasons why we had to give you course modules earlier than everyone else, because all of a sudden this energy, this flow was happening and everyone was coming into your world. Like the action taking, I think it's like the fearless action taking that we saw you do throughout the 30 days with us. You know, whenever we see people come in with similar traits to that, similar strengths, they're the ones that always really excel fast. And, you know, once again, that is you. 10 months, Kylie. 10 freaking months.
Uh, I can't believe it myself. Like, I honestly like go, what? And I think I even said before reading my application for the awards and stuff, like I was like, that just feels like it was a lifetime ago already. And
Mm.
already how I've evolved and grown since then has already changed dramatically. Like
Yeah.
agency wasn't hugely on my radar for the next couple of months. That was like a year or two away.
So tell us
Let's
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about this timeline and that because this timeline is blowing my mind. Okay, end of May, you've finished the launch at 30 days. You have put in your award entry, and I'm thinking that we would have closed award entries like in July, something like
Mhm.
that.
But yeah.
So, July, you had been going after launch for a couple of months and you put your award entry in. Like, what happened?
I started working with a coach as well. And even though I was niched, like I was like, yeah, I'm working with spiritual people and helping them with their systems and all that sort of stuff. Working with the coach just helped so much more as well. That next step is a beautiful progression because she just highlighted so many different things for me. She's like, okay, so you're niched, but you're not niched enough.
Mm.
Because for me, I was feeling overwhelmed, I guess, because things had happened really fast, right? And
Mm.
so I was going, okay, this is all happening really, really fast. I was building basically landing pages and email marketing and all that sort of stuff and for businesses, but I was kind of doing project work on service plan kind of situation, and I loved it. But then I realized as well, by being that digital duct tape, and this is something that I talk about a lot on my socials,
Mhm.
which you may
Mhm.
have seen, the
Yeah.
digital duct tape in our businesses that are holding all the different tools and systems. I was being that for these people. So energetically, these systems weren't flowing and it
Mm.
wasn't actually serving them for growth. They couldn't scale with the systems that they had. They weren't set up in a way that to really empower them. Yes, it could get
Mhm.
them so far, but I was then just being that duct tape for them. I was helping them with getting all of those things talking, finding solutions if things weren't working well. And it wasn't really setting them up and it wasn't empowering them. So my coach, and also the fact that I was learning like so many different platforms all at once, all of my
Yeah.
clients were in a different platform. I was going, holy heck. It was getting a little bit, I was feeling energetically scattered. And I think it was also a reflection of where their systems were as well.
Mm.
They were, all over the place. And so I realized I no longer wanted to be the digital duct tape. I wanted to be the solution that empowers them. So then after using quite a few different platforms, I picked one that I felt was best
Mhm.
service, fit for purpose for my niche, the best and most reasonable price point as well,
Mhm.
and that had room for them to scale and grow. So they could
Mm.
start on a smaller plan and they could scale and grow easily without having to constantly change platforms and moving things from one place to another. So I decided to just niche into one platform and to build a full solution. So that was when I stepped away from the spiritual VA into branding just myself, because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, I am who I am. And I didn't want to have that in the title where it was sort of pigeonholing me into another
Mm.
box. So, and I think you guys actually said in the launch in 30 days, if you can't think of a name, just be your own name, because that's who you are, right? And I'm like,
Mhm.
I should have listened.
Hey, but no, because your spiritual VA just set you on this path of
Yeah.
like connecting with so many spiritual people, right? So it's all a
Absolutely.
journey. The
Yeah.
steps that you took were all right for you at that right stage.
Mm.
And to now
Yeah.
have evolved into like what feels so amazing for you now. So you said before we started that you actually have got rid of all of your service plan clients and now everyone is project based. Is that
Mm.
how it
Yeah.
is now?
Yeah. So that's been the latest big shift,
Mhm.
is moving fully into the project work. So I have my first team member from September. Actually, I think I had actually had them on board just before the awards. So yeah, and then so I have my first team member, and so between the two of us, we are building systems and platforms that energetically align. And we bring into my team member is not customer facing, but he's
Mhm.
amazing. Again, making sure that who's touching parts of the business. Part of my
Mhm.
intake form was, what is your human design type? And
Mm.
Mm.
because I wanted to know how they think, and how, how all that side of them work, because it gives so much insight as well to how people work and do things.
Mhm.
So we bring a lot of that into the builds, and so I oversee the design. I actually help with the builds. I love tech, so I do need to probably not get so hands on later on down the future.
We need some more team members.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I love tech, and I think that's, the accounts and systems background and experience that I've got too. Like I've always loved flowcharts. I like to see start and finish. I love testing, all of that. I like to have all the different scenarios. That's how I'm wired. But I also love to have 100 things on the go at once, because I'm
Mm.
a manifesting generator, and
Mhm.
that's just how we roll. Yeah. So, yeah, so shifting more into a framework, a holistic systems framework. So it's bringing in all of these factors. It's looking at what sort of tools. I'm not just building platform. I want to know
Mm.
when I jump on a call with people, what are your goals? What are your visions? What are you wanting to achieve? Then let's build something that's going to work in with that.
And you have so much amazing experience now because you've done the service plan option, the spiritual VA, you've moved into one platform, multiple platforms. Like you actually have so much experience, even in the short 10 months that you have been in business. You have so much experience that you can pull on to actually now build the right solution for your clients. I think that is going to be really key for you as you move forward in your business too.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, like, even when I'm not working, I'm always upskilling. I'm watching videos, training and stuff like that on email marketing, how to do things better, or upskilling and learning more tools and stuff in the platform that I've chosen. And the other day, on a rainy day, I built out a whole support tool in the back end of my platform. So premium done for you clients can pay a monthly subscription for, like a monthly, no, it's not called subscription, is it? The maintenance plans, where then if they've got need any maintenance done on their back end, we've got a full support help desk set up in the back end
Mhm.
of my system where they can log a ticket, and then one of my team members can pick it up and do any tweaks or changes that they need. And that was like, I just want to learn how to use this tool. Let's give it a try. So I'm always diving into more things. I always want to be upskilling and learning more. I still want to dive into more around human design and the gene keys. I weave everything, all parts of my holistic and spiritual training, as well as my tech training and my office training, all into one.
Amazing.
I think it's so
You
cool that you're blowing some old school myths and misconceptions about spiritual people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think back in the day, if anyone was talking about how spiritual they are, I think they were kind of pigeonholed into this kind of hippie, ditzy type of mold, or in actual fact, like you're merging both sides of you so well. Like just because you're spiritual doesn't mean that you can't embrace the tech and be really, really business savvy. Like you can be both.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And it's speaking that language as well to those, to everyone that understands that. They're like, there's so many like you before, like there's so many like, holy shit moments. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like I think I put a post up just the other day about your resistance to tech is resistance to receiving.
I
Mhm.
loved that post. I loved it. You nailed it. I love all of your stuff, but yeah,
Yeah.
that really resonated. That really resonated.
Yeah.
I think you said earlier on, Kylie, that that you don't care what people think about you. And I think that's obviously helped with your fearlessness, with kind of going all in and being so open. Like, I think you might take that for granted. Like the number of virtual assistants, I'm not just talking aspiring virtual assistants, but established ones that have been doing it for a while that are really fearful of going, you know what, this is who I am. And I want to attract like minded people, but I'm afraid of the judgment. Now, you obviously haven't been afraid of that. Have you had any kind of backlash from it? Anyone going, that's a bit woo woo. What are you on about, Kylie?
No, I haven't always been that way, to be fair. I've had
Hmm.
a lot of moments of in the past of having to be really resilient, and it's really built a lot of that up. A little bit of backstory as well. Like I was diagnosed with breast cancer at 30. So I've had a double
Mhm.
mastectomy. We lost our home in the Christchurch earthquakes.
Mm.
So we've had a lot of resilience over I've had a lot of resilience over the years. And I think it puts that realization into perspective that life's too fucking short. And if you want
Yeah.
to do something, just do it and don't care what other people think. I haven't had
Yeah.
Mhm.
anybody say to me about it,
Yeah.
if they don't like it, I guess they unfollow me. I don't care. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You probably don't even open yourself for that criticism to even
No.
come, right? When you're just saying about like life can be short, so you have to do the things that you want to do. Like do them now because you don't
Mhm.
know what tomorrow's going to bring. I got full body goosebumps when you said that. Like, that's
Mm.
such a powerful message because I think there are so many women especially
Mm.
listening that are like, "Oh, but, I can't do that yet," or, "Oh, but I've got kids," or "I need to, like, focus on this other thing," or, "I'm not good enough for that," or you just all those excuses about why it's not the right time and
Yeah.
why they can't yet, and maybe they will in the future, but they can't now, which is
Mhm.
such a shame.
Just
Absolutely.
that
And
fear.
that's the thing. Like I started this 15 hours a week while homeschooling.
Yes, I remember you sharing that with us inside launch, and I just remember going, "Whoa, how is she gonna cope with that? Like, that's a lot."
Yeah. It was a juggle. My son's now back at school, started this term. So timing was right for him and for me. But at that time it was a juggle. But I had, you just call on friends and family if got meetings or, just set them up with something to do. PB. I don't
Mhm.
know, like if they've got their
Mm,
schoolwork or things done that they need to do, they
yeah.
need downtime. And I think once I started diving into human design and stuff as well, and I realized him and I, we're so different types that need space from each other. I was like, okay, now's the time to go back to school as well,
Mm,
because he was, hitting preteen and needed more
Mm,
social than what I could
mm,
provide. Even with the homeschool group, we could be
mm.
super social, but I wouldn't get any work done. So
Yeah.
it was just finding that balance.
Mm.
yeah, yeah. We've kind of I think talking with you, Kylie, I think there'll be people listening that go, wow, it was just so easy for her. Like everything was just like boom, 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 like dominoes, but in a good way. Everything was just in place. Did you have any challenges over the past 10 months or you would have? What would have been the biggest challenge over the past 10 months?
The self-doubt, 100% sure, 100%. The self-doubt. I'm like, oh my God, can I do this? And then when I'd get those small wins, I'll be like, yes, I can do this. I can do this.
Mm.
Yeah, but yes, so much self-doubt like throughout and that. And even just with the sales calls, they used to scare the shit out of me. But now I'm like, okay, it's obviously the more you do, the easier it becomes, and your confidence grows, but it's just also like changing that whole perspective on things. And I'm pretty sure we went through that as well in the
Mm.
course. It's what you can do for them. Like you need to know more about what they do and talking more about them. The focus is on them, not on you and what you can do. It's on them. What do they need? And so much fear and self-doubt. I've invested a lot in coaching to help me with that though.
Mm.
And that is the other thing. Like if I wasn't doing that, I'd get so in my head and I probably wouldn't have got anywhere near where I am now, because not only did I invest, I didn't have to start with our savings and stuff like that. And also put skin in the game, I guess. And so it was like I was committed 110% to make it work. I had to push through those fears. I had to push through the self-doubt and go, okay, this is it. I have invested so much financially into this, even, even for the first few months and still now, I'm investing a lot of my income back into the business, which is tough because, I'm not really taking much profit from it, but that's my choice. I'm taking enough that we can live off, and that's it, to top up the
Yeah,
family thing, but only enough to get by because
because
that's
you
my
are,
choice. I'm investing
yeah,
so much back in.
yeah, you're really committed to just having this agency take off, sacrificing now so that you can have your agency just absolutely flying later.
Yeah,
Kylie, what
absolutely.
was the
Like
stuff that
if I was jumping in and wanting to get good big profit straight away or take so much profit from it, then I wouldn't have been able to invest into the coaching and the training that I've been able to get me to
Mm.
this point.
You've really fast tracked things with that.
For sure. Kylie, what was the self-doubt about? Was it about finding clients? Was it about not knowing enough about the tech and stuff that you were talking about, wanting to, help others with? Like
Yeah.
what was the self-doubt about?
All of it. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah.
Just everything. Like sometimes it would be like, oh, these people that are doing so much, have so much knowledge in the systems and have been doing it for many years, where I'm still, at the start position type thing. But yeah, just really backing myself. I've just had to, because there was just so much self-doubt and just pushing through it. But then I do a lot of work on
Mm.
myself and energy work, and I understand everything's a lesson too. And like your spiritual VA. And so everything, there's a lesson in everything. So when I was having a really hard day the other day, I was like, oh my God, like this was so tough. And then I'm like, okay, so what's the lesson in this? What am I learning? Okay, well, I've done something probably, I did one of your things that you say not to do. I started a project without the contract signed and it backfired. But anyway, lesson learned. So,
Lesson learned,
um,
and you won't do it again, Kylie, right?
no, well, it was, yeah, because it was a friend, and and I
Mm.
understand though 100% from their perspective too, because
Mm.
spiritually and stuff, your business, as a person, and your business grows and evolves as mine has too, and so it's not that they don't want to do the project; it's just the timing's not right now because they're going through a pivot in their own business. And
Mm.
so, but yeah, again, I'm just like, oh, what's the lesson in this? Okay, now I'm going to be a bit more. Yeah, I just needed to be a little bit better with my systems in some ways,
Mm.
because a lot of us spiritual people and that we're a little bit, go with the flow.
Yeah.
And yeah, them as well, just focusing on those lessons, what's that and that, rather than going, oh my God, I'm such a dick. So you just have to learn from everything.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that, Kylie. What are there any challenges that come with your ideal client being soul led and spiritual themselves? I mean, obviously they're very much in alignment. You get them. You've done a lot of what, they do now themselves. So you get them, but are there any challenges that come with that type of client?
I don't think so any more than anyone else. People who
Yeah.
are looking for this sort of work are not tech minded, hence why they are coming to someone like myself. So
Mm.
the
Mm.
challenges are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Having clear steps in the process so you're not overwhelming them.
Mm.
Bite-sized information, I need this, and
Mm.
having all of those things sort of a bit more clearly mapped out. Definitely that aspect definitely really helps. But one of the things I've also found, and so I'm launching a new program actually in February, and it is an 8-week program in a small container of people, and it is a mixture of done with you and done for you. So there's some aspects that would be myself and my team will be building out like one-page website, but then over the period of the 8 weeks, week by week, we're going through a different part in their platform, and we're going through
Mm.
energetics and all different things. So then it empowers them to know how to use their system. So this program is called Sacred Foundations because it is just a really basic program. I do have a deeper 5-month one, which will set up online courses and all of that sort of more technical stuff in the background. But this is literally just helping people with a basic foundation to support their business and their growth that they can grow into. And
Mm.
that's been what's been really helpful for a lot of spiritual people is they're like, sometimes they do want to know, but they don't have the time or it's overwhelming. So them being able to
Mm.
bring in a little bit of a coaching aspect into
Mm.
that, but then it empowers them. They've got the tools
Mm.
and they then know how to use them. Doesn't mean they're
Mm.
not going to come to me when they need to move to the next level as their business grows and scales, and then they're ready to add more tools and they need to know how to do that. So it's
Mm.
not going, I'm training them on how to do my job and now I'm doing myself out of work. It's not like that at all, because then they respect and they appreciate that they're being empowered and that it's
Mm.
actually important, because there's nothing worse than if they need something done and they don't know where to go or how to do that.
I mean, and those foundations are so important, right? So even though you're saying it's a basic, like the foundations of what you're teaching, in Launch in 30 Days, it's the same thing, right? Getting those foundations
Yeah,
right, which we helped you with back in May, only May. Getting those foundations right just sets everything else off on the right footing. So I love that you're now helping business owners do that in the spiritual world as well. It's
yeah,
so, so important. The foundations are key to any business.
absolutely. And some people won't want to know, and that's where I have my premium done for you services. So, the
Mhm.
project work where, they can have it all fully built for them. Because some people are
Mm.
like that. They go, I don't want to know, just do it
Mhm.
for me. So it's
Mhm.
catering for everybody. Yeah. So which is pretty
Mhm.
exciting. It's
Mm.
been a
Kylie,
real change in direction lately of realizing that it's great building sites and building platforms for people. But I do handover training and video training and stuff like that for them too. But sometimes they actually just want to know how to quickly do something themselves without having to dig out the training video and watch it again. And it just gives them so much more empowerment in their business. They can make informed decisions and do it quick like that.
Kylie, how are your leads and clients finding you? You're obviously, your social media presence is stellar. It's very, very impressive. How are they finding you? Are you doing any other forms of marketing, or is it all social media, or is it word of mouth? How are they finding you?
Yeah. I think, well, the biggest shift I did was, even though I built my business Facebook page, I don't use it. I've moved everything over onto my personal page, because a
Mm.
lot of my clients were my friends or my network, but they didn't think that they were, or they weren't educated enough as to what I was doing. they weren't jumping onto my personal page to follow me and find out. So the more I started sharing it on my personal page, I've just
Mm.
had it all come that way or through word of mouth. I haven't jumped into it. I've only with my because I put out a Black Friday sale. That was the first time I'd actually put anything into any Facebook group, like community or, like those
Mhm.
sorts of groups. I'm in a lot. I haven't been active in them. That probably will be my next step. But so
Mhm.
far, it's all been organic through
Mm.
attraction marketing.
Amazing. All right. I think we've skipped over something that I think is a really key part of your journey, and that is the awards. You actually won the Best VA Newcomer after only being in business for a few months. What was that experience like?
That was surreal. I was like, I think again, Sam, I reached out to Sam and I was like, should I just give it a shot? She's like, yeah, go for it. Put the application in and I was like, oh, whatever. I'll do it and see what happens. I was not expecting to win. I was, yeah, completely blown away. Yeah, insane. So I couldn't
Was
be
that
there live because we were actually away that weekend
Mm.
in
Mm.
Tekapo. My husband does a bit of endurance athlete stuff, and so we were away for a race for him. Yeah, so jumped on the live and yeah, just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And actually the amount of inquiries I got from that alone was huge.
The credibility, right? The credibility it gives you. Yeah, I remember when you reached
Yeah.
out, Kylie, and you were like, should I? And I in my head, I was going, if Kylie, if we don't see an application come through on Kylie, I'm going to be really mad because we saw so much potential in you, like all that incredible action taking, the courageous decision making that you'd been making, when we spent that 30 days with you. It's like, oh, it would have been such a waste had you not spent that little bit of time filling out an
Mm.
application form and look at the result. So
Yeah.
proud. When your name was announced and your face appeared on the massive screen, because it was a big screen in person, just saying, it was huge.
Oh my gosh.
It was, we've said it before when we interviewed Bree, who was in the previous year's intake. She was the last interview of 2023. And I think we said then, like, proud mama hen moment right there. And just like, we were just so happy for you because it was just so well deserved. Like the work that you had put in. Yeah, just so proud of you. And the fact that you obviously got that influx of queries, it was like, yeah, it made that. I mean, how long did it take you to fill out the application form?
Oh, I can't remember. Feels like so long ago. I honestly can't remember. I did it over probably about a week over a few nights.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
payoff for that little bit of time that it took you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
well done.
absolutely. Yeah,
Well done.
absolutely. And I was so grateful. So thank you. Absolutely. And
No
I
worries.
missed at the end when we finished doing our launch in 30 days, I missed the morning training video to watch. Like I'd be in anticipation and the competitive side behind that with me. Oh my gosh, those ladies were amazing. We still keep in touch. It's great.
Mm.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah,
And
the
it's been really good
community.
because as I've pivoted a wee bit, I've had quite a few inquiries and stuff coming through that I've sent their way, which is so nice to share the love. As horrible it is like turning work away, I'm like, okay, I need to focus on my niche
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
need to, and one of them has secured some work
Mm.
through one of my referrals, which is amazing.
So
That's awesome.
good. So good. What was the trigger point for bringing on your team member, Kylie? What was what was happening in your world that you were like, okay, this is it. This is the sign. I need to bring somebody on.
I think it just felt like the right time. It just felt
Yeah.
like the right time. Coach of mine at the time was using an agency in Australia, and so I thought I'll have a conversation with them, see where it lands. And I managed to find an amazing person who's experienced in my platform that I
Mm.
use that has been able to help with not
Mhm.
only teaching myself, but also with so much of the back end for me. It was the best decision I ever made.
Mm.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know quite what it just felt like the right time. It
Yeah.
just things just happened and it just
Yeah.
Mm.
came about. It wasn't like I sat there and go, now's the right time. Like I need to hire
Mhm.
someone. I was just like, okay, I need to understand this platform. I
Yeah.
was like at first when learning it, there was so much to learn and mastering it and doing all of the training. Yeah. I just was like, I could do with somebody that knows this platform really well that's going to help support me in my business.
Feel like you're very intuitive, which is no surprising,
Yeah.
right? And you just know when the time's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. Has it been like a journey for you, Kylie? Like really learning to trust your instincts and trust your gut and like believe the signs and all of the spiritual stuff that you embrace now?
Yeah. I just it does take like, sometimes I'm going, "Oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing?" Like, I do
Mm.
get those moments 100%. Um, but I think as well, I've learned that the payoff of definitely I've made some decisions before in the past in life and businesses and things and stuff that intuitively I thought felt right, but it may not have been. It may have been because it was a lesson that I needed in that as well. Yeah, I think if you overthink things, that's when you get in your head, it just stops you from doing things.
Sure does.
Okay, Kylie, is there anything that we haven't covered so far that you think is a key part of your story that we know that our listeners would be interested in hearing, or some kind of lesson or something that you want to leave everyone with?
Absolutely. And I've had this conversation with a few people lately as well, which is really interesting. You don't have to get it all right before you start. You don't have to
Mm.
work out exactly how it's going to look, need to know everything before you start. Because if I had done that, I wouldn't have got anywhere. And it's only through starting that I've learnt what I do and don't
Mhm.
like. And that's why in that short 10 months, there's been so many changes to my business because I had to just get started and try things and learn things for that to actually evolve and happen. And
Mm.
so if you don't get started or you hold back because you're like, I don't have everything perfect and I don't know everything and I don't know what to do,
Mm.
then you won't, yeah. So just start. Doesn't matter if you don't have it all worked out. It will work itself out as time goes, as I know.
Yeah. And what would you say to anyone who's thinking about launching a virtual assistant business? They've had looking at the launch in 30 days. It is a substantial investment for them. What would you
Mm.
say?
Absolutely do it. Even if you borrow the money, I don't know, like if for me, I'd find the money because I know it would come back tenfold, knowing that when you invest as well, especially if it is tight and you can't really afford it, that's when your commitment will be even more and you'll go a lot harder. If you're doing it and it's you're like, oh yeah, I'll just do it, and it's not the skin isn't in the game quite the same. Yes,
Mhm.
you still do the actions, you still do the thing, but I think the drive behind that is just such a different energy.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kylie, for spending this time with us. Know that it's going to be so helpful for anyone who's listening who's on the fence about coming into the VA space, maybe has got some reservations about their own skills and are they enough. You have shown over the last 10 months, like you put the work in, if you put the kettle down and you go for it and start taking that action, it does start to come together, and lean on those experts to get the help you need.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.